Joining us now is Ojinika Ojiope, with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinek.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you?
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Yes, the lady in red. Yeah. Thanks for yesterday. Okay. As
always. Rufai, we missed you yesterday.
Morning,
how are you?
Glad to be here.
Good. Good morning, Tundu Abiola.
Oji always shows up bearing gifts. I always smile at you, Oji.
You know that. Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United Kingdom, after a month behind bars, Beatrice Ekweremadu, wife of Nigeria's former Deputy Senate President, Ike Ekweremadu, has been granted bail. The 55-year-old, who was arrested alongside her husband for alleged trafficking of a 21-year-old man to London with the intention of harvesting his organs, was released on stringent conditions on Monday. Senator Ike Ekweremadu, however, still remains in custody. In Canada, Pope Francis issued a historic apology on Monday for the Catholic Church's cooperation with the country's catastrophic policy of indigenous residential schools, saying that the forced assimilation of native peoples into Christian society destroyed their cultures, severed families, and marginalized generations. In India, 65-year-old Draupadi Murmu was sworn in as president on Monday, making her the first person from one of the country's marginalized tribal communities to serve as head of state. The former school teacher was elected to the largely ceremonial position last week. After being sworn in, the newly elected president said that her election was an achievement of every poor person in the country. Under sports, congratulatory messages have been pouring in for the fastest female hurdler in the world, Tobiloba Amusan, who broke the world record on Sunday night and won a gold medal at the World Athletics Championships in Eugene, Oregon. President Muhammadu Buhari also joined the world in celebrating the 25-year-old athlete, including students from her alma mater who sang the national anthem with her portrait during their school assembly. Finally, tributes pour in for versatile British actor David Warner, who died from a cancer-related illness on Sunday. Warner's roles ranged from Shakespearean tragedies to sci-fi cult classics and was often cast as a villain. He played roles in the 1971 psychological thriller Straw Dogs and the 1976 horror classic The Omen. Warner was best known for his role in the 1997 blockbuster Titanic, where he played the malicious valet Spicer, Lovejoy. He was 80 years old.
Lovejoy! She's not on the starboard side either.
We're running out of time. This strutting martinet isn't letting any men out at all.
There's one on the other side letting men on.
Oh, may his soul rest in peace. Let's begin what's trending. In the wake of the recent video showing terrorists who abducted passengers from the Abuja-Kaduna train on March 28th, a new documentary by BBC Africa Eye sheds some light on the mindset of terrorist warlords operating in Zamfara State. In the viral documentary, Abu Sani, a self-confessed terrorist who says he helped mastermind the abduction of students of Government Girls Secondary School, Jangebe, said that insecurity has become a lucrative business that everyone benefits from.
Me yasa kake tunani arewacin Najeriya tana ta lalacewa, tana rikicewa da wayannan matsaloli na tsaro?
Saboda mai da abun neman kudi. Saboda shine kowa kudi yake nema da wannan bangare shi aka mayar. Yasa harkoki suke lalacewa tun daga manyan har zuwa ga kanana. Kaga su kuma jami'ai can an ce gwamnati ita ma in ana rikici ana turo mata da kudi. Kaga ta wancan bangaren su ma suna samu. Mu mata nan kaji za a zubar da jini za ka yi da sai amma kuma ai ta yi haka nan.
Well, all right, Tundu Abiola, we took a story only yesterday about the terrorist, the Zamfara terrorist that was turbaned. In this actual documentary. He even talked about the fact that he killed a lot of vigilantes and that he couldn't even, count. I mean, the account of this documentary was so chilling. Just to know, like you always talk about the ecosystem of the terrorists operating in Nigeria at this point. Absurd.
They actually do have a lot of sympathy. It's staggering. He could not remember. He was asked how many people he killed, and he kind of went, it was really awful. And then the girls who were victims of being abducted, and how they said they tried to teach their captors and they couldn't grasp it. I watched it twice, actually, because I could not believe what I was hearing in this country. And the thought expressed by one of the gentlemen, well, that's a stretch calling him a gentleman.
No, yeah, exactly.
One of the people in the documentary talking about how Fulanis have been treated in Nigeria was also very chilling. The fact of the matter is they do feel perfectly justified in what they're doing. They feel that God is on their side, and that, as I keep saying, is what makes this beyond criminality. Criminality alone is easier to deal with. There's an ideology here, and there's some kind of belief that they have the right to behave in this manner. There's some kind of belief that now when they get ransomed, that gentleman, I keep calling them, it's a force of habit.
Don't worry.
That person that you just showed in that being interviewed, when they were paid ransom that was negotiated from 300 million to 60 million, what did they do with it? They bought more rifles.
Can you imagine?
I had to watch it twice, literally. Scary. And this is the country we live in. It could be anybody. It could literally be anybody.
Yes, the fact that people are profiting from the crisis, Dr. Abati, in Nigeria is very absurd for me to hear.
The documentary, with Abu Sani is yet another painful reminder of the fact that terrorists in Nigeria have become more audacious. They really do not care. They think that they are in a better place than the government of Nigeria. And in the face of the helplessness of the state and the underwhelming response by the Nigerian state, these terrorists are emboldened. They not only grant interviews, they've developed their own system within the Nigerian system. And that is what makes, this development tragic. Now, a number of takeaways from what he said. He said, for example, that he doesn't kidnap people, that he kills them. He was asked the question, how many have you killed? He said he has lost count.
I mean,
he was asked whether he regrets it. He says, no, he doesn't feel anything. He just kills for a purpose. And this is supposed to be a Nigerian. That's sad. That's tragic. That we have created a generation, a population, a segment of the population that kills other human beings for sport.
Yes.
And do not feel anything about it.
Yeah.
Even when they claim that they are Christians or Muslims or whatever faith that they profess. Human lives means nothing. Human lives mean nothing to them. Yeah. And this was the point that came out of the protest by Catholic Bishops' Conference the other day, when the Catholics were protesting and saying that we cannot have a country where the life of a human being is so worthless that it no longer matters. The second point had to do with the abduction of the girls of the government science secondary school, the 279 female students of that school in Jangebe, Zamfara State, who were abducted. Okay, he played a role in that regard. Government denied that ransom was paid, but he confirmed in that interview that 60 million was paid and that they used the 60 million to buy more arms and ammunition. Yeah, the girls were eventually released, but the terrorists are still fully at work. The Jangebe incident in Zamfara was in 2021. This is more than a year later. They're still flourishing.
Yes.
Abu Sani is granting interviews. His other colleagues are collecting chieftaincy titles.
Yeah.
From the same Zamfara state in Yandoto, where Emir Marafa, now suspended, was doling out chieftaincy titles to criminals. That again is an indication of the very bad place in which we have found ourselves. And in the face of all of this, the Nigerian government, speaking through Garuba Shehu, says that in fact, the president of Nigeria is doing more than what he can do.
Can you imagine, Dr. Abati, really?
Which means that all of us are in a very terrible place. Over 1 million people, we're told, are still in captivity, whether persons who were abducted from a train ride from Abuja to Kaduna, or innocent students who went to school and committed a crime for going to school inside Nigeria, or the others, hundreds of thousands, whose only offense is that they are Nigerians living in dangerous times.
You know, Abu Sani also said that, you know, the reason they kidnapped those girls because they wanted to teach the government a lesson. And they do it every other time because they want to, how do you even say it, have that type of monstrous behavior in their heart. Rufai.
You see, Nigeria has become like Mexico, where drug cartels roam free. In this case, it's banditry.
Yes.
And bandits, they roam free. And nobody can stop them. They get titles, traditional titles. In fact, in Mexico, they get mariachi band to sing for them and eulogize criminals. That's where Nigeria has become.
Yes.
As we speak today. I watched that interview and my heart bled over 50 minutes. Over and over again, my heart bled. The audacity, the fact that you have a steady stream of weapons coming into this country, not stopped. That's one of the biggest takeaways from this. We need to be able to block the loopholes. One of them in the interview said, oh, I had laid down my weapon at a point, but when the government provoked me, because they came to attack us, then I went back to Niger. So the fact that we have a steady stream of AK-47s coming in from Niger, and people can get this weapon and banditry flourishes. The shocking part for me is the fact that it is, once you leave Gusau, the state capital in Zamfara, other things are bandit land. Large swaths of land, bandit land. And the fact that they go unannounced, they kill people, maim people, destroy lives, they want to prove a point and the government cannot tackle them, cannot fight them, cannot bring them down. The fact that we don't have intelligence to be able to pick them up now as we speak. Because you cannot tell me that we live in a country where we have criminals roaming free and nobody's got intelligence to go pick them up. If a journalist
Rufai, that was my point.
Go in there and get an interview with them and go to their various huts to get interview with them, and the government cannot do the same. The fact that the government comes out and lies to the people. And you see, when you look at the bare thread of everything, there's also a failure of government. I remember there was a part shown when the parents were protesting, and that when they returned the girls and a boy was shot when the military opened fire on them. I mean, there's so much, but I'd like to see the Nigerian government reaction to this.
Yes, me too.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. If a journalist can go out there to find these terrorists, the government should do better. We'll take another story. The clerics who claimed to have attended the unveiling ceremony of Kashim Shettima as a running mate of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in a video that is making the rounds on social media said that they are not fake bishops. On July 20th, videos of the clerics attending the event sparked outrage on social media, with many Nigerians calling them fake or unknown bishops. Speaking at a media briefing in Abuja on Monday, Adams King, the secretary of the Christian Muslim Love Foundation, an umbrella body of the clerics, argued that they did not portray themselves as representatives of the Christian Association of Nigeria as widely assumed, stating that their ministries have existed for several years. King also expressed his strong belief in Kashim Shettima's nomination and said that their group has the right to identify with any political candidate.
For several days now, we have watched with dismay the unwarranted controversy, insult on our persons, the abuse and the unlawful threat against our life, precipitated against our simple patriotic attendance at the APC event. Our organization, Muslim Christian Love Foundation, is a religious organization. For the avoidance of doubt, we have never attempted to portray ourselves as representatives of the Christian Associations of Nigeria. We went as an organization, one, two, as clergy, three, on the basis of our objectives. to bring peace to our nation. And as clergymen, as pastors called by God, we are devoted ourselves for this purpose for several years. If anyone wishes to verify the truthfulness of this claim and maybe wishes to join our association or our respective ministries, he or she is welcome at any given time.
Well, in the meantime, Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has reacted to the controversy surrounding the bishops. During a live interview on Monday, Obi stated that the alleged bishop turned an important event into a theatre, adding that bishops should be in churches praying for the country and not attending such gatherings. He also pointed out that he and the People's Democratic Party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar carried out their unveiling ceremony without such controversy trailing their event. Well, in another development, an outspoken radical cleric, Bishop Benjamin Mustafa, who is also against the nomination of Kashim Shettima as the vice presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, took to the streets of Lagos on Monday, carrying a coffin on his head in protest over a Muslim-Muslim ticket and the alleged refusal of the Nigerian government to punish the killers of Deborah Samuel, the 22-year-old student of Shehu Shagari College, who was gruesomely murdered over comments alleged to be blasphemous to Prophet Muhammad in Sokoto State. The cleric, while condemning the Muslim-Muslim ticket, said that it was wrong for people in power to share the same faith amid the current religious crisis in the country.
These people being in power for now is wrong. Absolutely wrong, because they share the same faith, they will be sympathetic to one another, and this sympathy is what has brought us to where we are. Why would you be negotiating with terrorists, men who are killing, destroying everywhere? The Lekki toll gate deaths, there have been a result of the panel of inquiry. Nobody has been prosecuted up till today, and young men are roaming about the streets. They are not in classrooms, and tomorrow they will give them a bag of rice, give them a derrick of rice, and put some money in their hands, and they will sell their future. This will not happen again.
Well, Tutu Abiola, he made a lot of valid points, this bishop. He's quite controversial. We've seen a lot of his other videos where he's been arrested as well. But also Peter Obi made that point where he said that these bishops should be in church praying for Nigeria.
Well, they actually have the right to go where they like, and they have the right to show support. However, they have completely eclipsed the occasion. Nobody is talking about why the vice presidential candidate of the APC is a good idea or bad idea even. They are the story. The story is this bishop's, palaver, yes. Bishopgate, frankly. But I wanted to come back to a point that you made quickly, because it's important for balance, about the journalist and if you can find the bandits, the federal government. The same thing happened when Robert Fisk interviewed Osama bin Laden when he was a fugitive. When Oscar-winning actor Sean Penn interviewed El Chapo Guzman, Sinaloa cartel's boss, when he was a fugitive from justice. There were calls for those two journalists, well, Sean Penn is an actor, but was acting as a journalist at the time, to be arrested. And the authorities said, no, they cannot be arrested. It's not illegal. Yeah. Neither should they be harassed. But the authorities could not find them, but journalists could. So it does happen.
Unacceptable. Rufai, quickly your comment.
So the shocking thing for me is that the people that say religion should not matter in our politics are the ones that are trying so hard to make it matter by bringing bishops out there, a parade of 30 bishops just to come and show that they endorse an unveiling of a candidate. That's what shocks me. But I think the initial premise of the argument is that religion shouldn't matter. So why are the bishops there in the first place? And why are the bishops trying so hard to prove that they are bishops? Why all this talk after it, even holding press conference? Why didn't this bishop hold press conferences when the Methodist prelate was kidnapped and paid 100 million ransom? Why didn't they hold press conference when Deborah was killed in the manner? Why didn't they hold press conference when Eunice Olawale was murdered in blasphemy killings? Why didn't they hold press conference when the bishop in Kaduna was killed? Why didn't they hold press conferences where priests everywhere are being killed? Why did they hold press conferences when people were being killed and they can't travel from one point to another in the country? Why didn't they hold press conferences there? Absolutely. Why? I ask.
Well, Adams King, who led the Christian Muslim Law Foundation, said the reason they held the press conference is to confirm that they are truly Christians, and second, that they are in support of the choice of Shettima.
And that they are not part
and
of
the
CAN.
third point is that they are not members of the Christian Association of Nigeria. And it's not just the Christian Muslim Law Foundation. There are others. The Christian Revival Evangelical Mission, the Lighthouse of All Nations Assembly. You know, in Christianity or even in Islam, there are so many denominations. So there is division even within the church. Okay, but the point that they have made is neither here nor there. As citizens, they have the right to make their own choice. The other side is the protest, which was also shown about persons saying Muslim ticket is unacceptable.
Yes.
The killing of Christians or anybody at all is unacceptable. So this is a country that is fighting over religion. We just hope that going forward there will be greater emphasis on issues that affect us, that can transform our lives, rather than religion, ethnicity, geography, and those centrifugal forces that make Nigeria a difficult place to live in.
Well said, all of you. Thank you so much for your beautiful analysis as always. That's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you tomorrow.